Hello everybody, welcome back to Daily Dictation, the answers for DD 233. DD 233 was about Earth Day. Did you celebrate Earth Day? Did you do something? I know most people probably didn't even know, but if you did something, leave a message down below. It is important. Earth Day should be every day. Now, we studied this entire article in DDM, Daily Dictation Members. But in DD, we have just a short segment, and a lot of you did a really good job. So now I'm going to show you the answers and then an explanation video for DD 233. And at the end, I'll read it 3 times for you, and I hope to see you again in DD 234. So, enjoy the video. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observe the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event that's now observed around the world. Okay, Earth Day. Make sure you get the TH, Earth Day. That was a little bit tricky. Everybody else did a very good job. Millions of Americans concerned about. Listen carefully and you will hear the D connects. Concerned about, millions of Americans concerned about the environment, the environment, environment. Now actually, there is a very slight N sound. Environment, environment, environment. However, many Americans, when they say it, the N is gone. And we know similar sounds can connect, and we keep the second. Environment, environment, environment. A lot of people just pronounce the M. Actually, you should pronounce the N too. I try to. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observe the first Earth Day. Observe the first Earth Day. Observe the first Earth Day. So be careful. We got a Z, a TH, an S, a TH. Keep the S's and the TH sounds separate. They're very different sounds. Remember, the strongest sound in American English is the S. And the weak sounds, D, T, TH. The TH is a weak sound. So don't get those sounds mixed up. So practice this. Observe the first Earth Day. 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 It's not easy. It's almost a tongue twister for many students. Germans, Russians, Koreans. Who else? I think my Haitron from Vietnam has a problem with the S's. Keep those sounds clear. Observe the first Earth Day. Observe the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event. The demonstration becomes an annual event. This is tough too. Becomes an annual. Becomes an annual. Becomes an annual event. Remember, this word "an," the perfect pronunciation, "an," but the typical pronunciation, "n." N. Becomes an annual. Becomes an annual event. Becomes an annual event. And we can connect. That's now, that is now, that's now observed around the world. Around the world. And if we say it really fast, around the world. And some students have RLD problems. Work on the pronunciation. World. World. Around the world. around the world, around the world, around the world. Let's say it together one more time, slow. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observed the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event that's now observed around the world. The environment. Yes, we live on the earth and we must take care of the earth. Personally, when I see pollution, like if I'm hiking in the mountain and I see trash, it really breaks my heart. It makes me angry at the human, and I feel sorry for the earth. If I'm looking at the river or the ocean and I see a tire or trash and plastic, it breaks my heart. It makes me really sad. The pollution in the city, the cars, the exhaust, the oil, the fumes, the smells. It's really horrible. So we have Earth Day. And the idea of Earth Day is to tell the world to wake up and look at your environment. Is it clean? Is it dirty? Are you wasting material? Are you wasting water? Are you wasting electricity? Are you wasting gas? Are you wasting food? Are you wasting paper, trees? Think about it. So that's a really good thing. I think that if we really think about our environment, we can become better citizens of the earth, right? But what's interesting is the government involvement with Earth Day. And that's where I have a problem. The government getting involved in Earth Day. I don't think that's the solution. But I think people expect the government to do something. The government will make a new law. The government will restrict something. The government will start some sort of new alternative electricity, solar power, wind power, sea power, something. But personally, I think that's wrong. I think you and me, individuals, should do something. I don't want the government to restrict my life. I can manage my own life. And if you think about the government restrictions, are we consuming less things for the environment, or are we consuming more things, or the same? Well, I think Earth Day is about stop wasting. Don't waste things. So basically, Earth Day means slow your consuming down. Stop buying so much. Be happy with less is the idea of taking care of the earth. But the government is encouraging us to buy more, buy eco-friendly, buy environmentally friendly things, buy biodegradable things, which is more expensive, more products, more manufacturing. Yeah, so there's some irony in this situation. It's also very important to look at the history of Earth Day and the environmental movements around the world. And most people don't study. We just listen to the news or read the newspaper or magazine, and we see this information and we accept the information as truth. But that might not be the case. I'll give you a couple people that maybe, if you're interested, you can do some research on. One guy is Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong is a very powerful person in the environmental movement, especially at the United Nations. And Maurice Strong actually has billions of dollars because of oil and gas. He's an oilman. He's a gas man. That's not for the environment. It's kind of ironic. That's one person. Do some research. Another guy is Al Gore. Do some research about his history and his knowledge. Al Gore has had a huge television network, and he sold it to basically the Middle East. I don't care about that, but the Middle East with money from oil and gas. So here's an environmental guy telling us to stop driving, talking about carbon taxes, and he sells his company for profit to oil companies. More irony. It's kind of ironic. And there's something called the Club of Rome. I almost forgot the name. The Club of Rome is also very involved in this global warming trend that we hear on the news and in the newspapers. So, yes, for me, am I an environmentalist? I don't like the label. I don't like labels. But yes, I do care a lot about the environment. I try to reduce my consumption. I try to eat food that is locally produced. I try not to drive very much. I try to reduce my electricity, but it's tough with the internet and my internet classes. But I have stopped using paper. Almost. I almost use no more paper. I'm very proud about that. So I'm doing what I can. And hopefully I'll have a garden so I can produce my own food, and maybe I can share some of the vegetables with my neighbor, an old grandmother. That would be cool. So I'm doing things, and we all should try to do something. But am I an environmentalist? Like Al Gore? No. No, I'm not like Al Gore, that's for sure. The environment is very important. But the government and the environment doesn't really make sense. Rich people and the environment doesn't really make sense. Think about it. It doesn't make sense. Government likes power. Government likes control. Rich people like power. Rich people like money. Why would they be interested in saving the environment? If you really think about it, this is my opinion, it doesn't make sense. So, if you are a VIP member, if you join the Hangouts, I would like to discuss this very interesting topic. And we'll try to restrict it to about 15 minutes, but I would like to talk about Earth Day. Earth Day is great, but maybe global warming and the government involvement. I'm curious as to what your opinion is, especially from another country. What do the people in your country think about Al Gore and Maurice Strong and the Club of Rome? Very important organizations that we should know about. Okay? So I look forward to discussing this in our Hangouts. Everybody can have their own opinion. I think that's great. But we can also argue about our opinions. 1970. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observe the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event that's now observed around the world. 1970. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observe the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event that's now observed around the world. 1970. Millions of Americans concerned about the environment observe the first Earth Day. The demonstration becomes an annual event that's now observed around the world.